right there, ladies and gentlemen.
9 to noon.
That is some master mixing by the master mixer of the morning montage on a Monday. He's producer Eric Nordquist. He's the Con, and I'm Paul Allen. Welcome to 9 to noon. Welcome to 9 and 2 to noon. I mean, what is it with Soldier Field, where it all just has to be mind-blowing and gut-punchy and grimy and hard, generally speaking? Dadgummit, it nearly happened again. You stop that, you goofy kids. Dadgummit. I mean, we hit a ton of it last week. 0-3, going to win the division with 2 games to play. HOF Randy Moss, front right of the end zone, is going to score a touchdown, right? But the ball's ripped away by then Louisiana Lafayette rookie Charles Peanut Tillman. Seriously? All the way back to 0-3, and the anti-Vike was creeping onto the scene. 0-9, which was terrific. Devin Aromashadu in overtime, and on Antoine Winfield, of all corners, the greatest corner in the history of Minnesota Vikings football. It always has to be mind-blowing and gut-punchy and grimy and difficult at Soldier Field, doesn't it? 2013. Seldomly used tight end Martellus Bennett walks off on the Minnesota Vikings with like 10 seconds to play. 2016, they lose a Monday Night Football game, and offensive coordinator Norv Turner quits the day after the game. 1-12 at Soldier Field from 2003 to 2016. Straight up anti-Vike stuff, and it almost happened again yesterday. Dadgummit, it nearly happened again yesterday. Wow. But it didn't. And the Minnesota Vikings persevered and beat the Chicago Bears in overtime 30-27. I mean, we're all home and cooled out. Like 20% of the stadium was gone near the end of the regulation portion of the equation. Then this.
Boom. There's Romo's kick. Short. DeAndre Carter at the 5-yard line. Center of the field to the 10 to the 15 to the 20 to the 30. Makes a great move right. Takes 2 tackles at the 50. And he's taken down from behind at the 38. The rookie Dallas Turner just made the biggest play of his young National Football League career. A 55-yard return by DeAndre Carter.
What are we doing here? Trying to keep the anti-Vike in the game. Give those who stayed at Soldier Field reason to cheer. They got reason to cheer, all right.
First and goal from the 1. Caleb takes the snap. Back to pass. Here comes Harrison Smith. He missed the sack. Caleb rolls out to the right. Throws to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Chicago Bears. On a herky-jerky play, Keenan Allen has caught the touchdown. Keenan Allen with his 3rd touchdown reception this season. And now it's 27-22 Minnesota. 22 seconds to go.
All right, we good, though. We good. Eberflus tried for a 2-point conversion earlier. They're 2 of 6 on the season on 2-point conversions, and they are fall down, Chicago Bear, ha 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 ha. You ain't going to get this too, right?
If they don't get this 2-point conversion here, then the game's absolutely over.
Well, they'll get an onside kick
either
try.
way, it's an onside kick try, but
good luck with that, right?
Here we go.
2-point try, like the analyst said. Bears 0 of 1 on 2-point tries, 2 of 6 this year.
Covering.
DeAndre Swift to the left of Caleb Williams.
Find
under
him.
Shotgun, trying for the 2 down 5. Fires a fastball back center of the end zone. Caught for the 2 by number 2. DJ Moore. 27-24 Minnesota. And now the Bears will try an onside kick.
Well, we still got this mug in the bag, don't we? I mean, ever since they changed the kickoff rules, you got to have main man in the middle and then 5 on each side for safety purposes. And you heard up to the 2, the analyst went box on it, and he's like, well, this thing's over.
Here we go, Paul!
And I'm like, well, they still have an onside kick try. And he's like, yeah, but that's an onside kick. They're basically impossible to get. And I'm like, yeah, Bears, good luck with that. I mean, good luck with that.
22 seconds to go in the game. Onside try, Cairo Santos. He's going to kick it with his right foot. It's a dribbler. It bounces off a Viking and recovered by the Bears. Now let's see if they got requisite yardage. Let's see if
Well,
they
it
got
depends on who it touched first.
It, I believe, hit a Viking first.
Are you serious?
The right leg of a Viking, I believe.
It was the right leg of Johnny Munt, and the Chicago Bears got the ball. Santos, of course, decides this time to nail a field goal, and we're off to overtime. But this time, the anti-Vike was bound and relegated to teeth gnashing and torment. Parker Romo, though, 6 for 6 on all his kicks, and he walked off on the Chicago Bears, sending their fans home with anguish and sadness. Much respect for that young man, by the way. Sunday, this upcoming Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals, I believe, could be, will be, could be, might be Parker Romo's final game wearing the colors. The Alabama kid should be set to return against the Atlanta Falcons and Kirko Chains. Romo, I mean, how about Parker Romo? You got a 4-game snapshot, most likely, and he gets all this. The first 3 are outdoors. It's windy as bleep at Jacksonville, wonky turf at Soldier Field, and division game pressure against the Chicago Bears. And given half the team probably never has spoken to him, and some may not even know he's on the team, the last thing you want to do is go Daniel Carlson on the bit and let everybody down by blowing a game winner late in overtime, especially after the defense re-engaged and put young Caleb and their offense in its place. Instead, Parker Romo walked off in fine fashion, and to hugs and exultation from his teammates and his coaches. Might be the only time in this young man's life he gets the opportunity to feel that fun. And Parker Romo saved the freaking day. Covenant collapse for Parker Romo. Yeah. San Antonio Brahmas go crazy. Virginia Tech Hokies go crazy. Minnesota Vikings fans go crazy. Parker Romo. Who knew? Well done, Parker Romo. Well done, TJ Hawkinson. 1 catch for like 5 yards in the first half. 1 for like 5. And he finished 7 for 114 with massive catch after massive catch. Copyright Scott Zolak. Big boy's back. And well done, Sam Darnold. Yesterday was the newest, best game he has played here. Didn't throw a pick. Didn't overly force it to Justin Jefferson, who was uber covered. And when 18 did scoot free, he hit him for 20 in overtime. And the anti-Vike was feeling the wrath. Sat down with Justin and others after the game in the business we call them drive-bys. And just walking around the locker room, tripping over bags, bumping into scribes. Justin Jefferson was part of the mix. These are some patented 9 to noon drive-by chats. And we started with right tackle Brian O'Neill, who started his 100th game and was gassed after the grinder.
Yeah, definitely one of the crazier endings I've been a part of, but it just shows the resilience and resolve of our group to, continue to find another way to get a win. And division games on the road are always huge, and definitely needed to come away with this one, so it feels great.
So 3 in a row on the road, all right? Now, it's the first time in franchise history a Vikings team has won back-to-back on the road, but it's not like there have been that many. How tough is that? Like, what makes that difficult going on the road 3 consecutive weeks?
From our perspective, it's really just been taking it one game at a time. And now we're excited to get 3 games at US Bank in front of our fans in a row. So, great to get this one done and finish off a good road stretch. And, got to use this momentum to propel us forward for the next 6 regular season games. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Brian O'Neill with his 100th start. Hey, Blake, real quick, Blake Brandel, left guard. Your 50th game today, and your 50th game today is going to be memorable. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of things that everybody can correct, but still, you got the money in overtime. What was it like for you?
Yeah, it's these division games are always crazy, and I heard you mention meat grinder. That's how I would describe it. I got to run the ball a good amount, which was awesome. But yeah, man, it was awesome. Just getting the win, overtime especially. It's that's just how these games go sometimes. It's the NFL.
Getting 3 in a row at home, Arizona, Atlanta, these Bears again on Monday Night Football. But you get Thanksgiving, then you get a little home run. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not complaining for sure, especially after going 3-0 on the road. That's huge. And, yeah, I mean, there's nothing like US Bank Stadium, and it's a huge advantage for us. So the plan is to, get back there and take care of business with the fans.
Last one. I said it was your 50th game, but it was your 11th consecutive start this year, and you're still very young in your career. How do you feel? Like what's that been like starting all 11 games?
It's been great, man. It's definitely a learning process, and there's a lot to improve on, but there's plenty to build on as well. And so just trying to continue to learn and work my tail off, and just take it one day, one play, one game at a time.
Congratulations, bud.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
For sure. That's Blake Brandell, the starting left guard for the Minnesota Vikings. Do some drive-bys here in the locker room and see what we can get accomplished over here. I just can I sneak in one with the game changer? Hi, how are you, Justin? Hi. Good to see you. The 20-yard grab, center of the field, trying to run away from everybody. See, you're probably tired and probably a little leg weary right now. That was a long game, but the old announcer put a smile on your face with that 20-yard run. That was nice. How'd you feel about the game?
Yeah, it's a tough place to play for sure. But these divisional games, you got to come to play every single time. So it's definitely difficult, just going through the different changes and just trying to go off of the fly. But it was great to come here and get a win, a divisional win at that.
Justin, you got held out there a little bit. There was my man Jalen Johnson grabbed the back of your jersey early. You probably would have gotten by him for a 41-yard score there. But a game against Jalen and a tightly contested game like this, what was it like for you?
It's frustrating, difficult to go up against 2 to 3 guys, throughout the game. But it is what it is. Something I have to deal with every single week. But when they double me, then everybody else get a chance to make plays and eat. So, as long as we get in the dub, we're getting wins, and we're continue to get better every single week, then my performance doesn't really matter.
Well, last one, man, because Kevin was on my radio show earlier in the week, and I asked him about this coverage and everything, and you passed Torrey Holt for the most receiving yards of anybody history of the NFL through 5 years, despite all this coverage you're getting, and the way he laid it out, it's like envision basketball, and it's like getting triple covered every single time. I mean, you're 9-2, and I know end of the equation that matters most to you. But is that how the Bears play, or did they change things today simply because of how good you are?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's everyone that plays us. It's not really singling out the Chicago Bears, not single out any team. Every team that we go against, kind of plays differently than what they've been, playing on film versus when, we're stepping out there on that field. So it just goes to show you the amount of talent that we really have out there on the field, and the amount of weapons that we really have. So, as long as they're covering me and worrying about me, everybody else can eat.
Last one, I promise. I mean, I love you, man, and it's not like I have to remind you this or anything, but I mean, Jordan probably doesn't do what he does. TJ probably doesn't do what he does in the second half if it's not a collective, collaborative effort where you just got to bite the bullet a little bit, right? But you know what? In overtime, when you need a 20 center of the field to set this thing up to win, they went to big boy, and that matters too.
Oh, for sure. Just like you said, it's just something you got to deal with, something that you kind of got to take under the chin and just keep riding with it. But seeing these guys eat and seeing them perform at their highest ability is something that is always special and always great to see. So I'm always going to keep coaching up my young bull, but we just got to keep going and keep finding ways to get better.
You're spectacular. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Justin. Justin Jefferson, I appreciate you there. Let's roll on over here. Hey, Sam. How you doing, buddy? Congratulations on the victory. First and foremost, yeah, sure, for sure. Yeah, no problem. We'll roll over here and see what's going on with the rest of the group. Because the Vikings, with a very dramatic 30-27 victory in overtime over the Chicago Bears. Oh, Brian, holy cow. Oh, I got on the 21-yard return. All right.
20 yards?
21.
My teammates making fun of me, man.
What do you mean?
They said that
Brian Asamoah.
I told them I was a running back. They said I wasn't a running back. And
Okay, see, I was trying to think about it during the call because I was like, okay, well, now we got 5. Ooh, now we got 10. So tell me, did you switch hands? Did you, like, switch the football? Like a true running back or something? You were smooth.
So I played running back in high school, and it just felt natural when I had the ball. And from there, man, I was just trying to get yards and help my team win in any way possible. So
You were trying to score, weren't you?
Hey, that was the goal. I'm mad, though. I'm mad I didn't get to do that.
Oh, that's okay, though. You were in tight quarters. I mean, you got a lot of bears around you trying to bring you down, but that was big.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man.
Congratulations. Lastly, you're how am I going to put this? You're very important to special teams. All right. And in fact, Matt Daniels last week called you a special teams leader. And there were some problems at the end with that DeAndre Carter kick return and some stuff like that. I mean, is it just a situation where, hey, we won, there are things to correct, and you move forward?
Most importantly, every week you find things to improve on, and that was something that we need to improve on. And we'll fix it, and we'll go into next week ready to compete again. So,
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Ryan Asamoah. Thank you, bud. Real quick, Keenan McCardell, 9 wins. How you feel?
Great. Still a lot more work to do.
And Jordan Addison, who coaches him?
Some guy I know.
Thank you, Keenan McCardell. I appreciate you. Just real quick here with these drive-bys. Block field goal. Block field goal, and if you look at the final score and the way the thing developed at the end,
we needed that.
You needed it, Jerry Tillery. That was great. I haven't looked back at the numbers or anything. Have you blocked field goals before?
I have, yeah, and it's they're tough to get first. It's probably one of the most rare plays in the NFL, but we had a good game plan to attack their protection, and we knew how this kicker liked to kick the ball, and so we were able to put those together and then knock one down.
Your first year here, man. 9-2. How you feel about that?
I like that a lot. I like it a lot.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Harrison Phillips, 9-2. Let's begin there. 9-2, Harrison. You've been around here a few years, so you remember 2022 and all those super close games and everything. You win 13 at the end of the equation. You're 9-2. It's same fishbowl, but like under a different rock. This has just been a different kind of year, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think similar to that season, you have to win down the stretch, right? We have to win games in December. We have to hit the playoffs hot. And I think we started 9-1 that season and lost first round of the playoffs. So that we know that we have pretty big goals out there right now. Sorry, guys. Our focus is to go 1-0 every single week, and that's why this week was the biggest game of the season, because it was the next one. But I will say I'm very proud of how this team is able to go back to back to back road games after a 5-game stretch where we lost 2 games in 5 days and respond and go 3-0 on the road. That is a testament to who we have on this roster.
Beautifully said. What was it like playing against Caleb Williams?
He's hard to get to. Excuse my French, but yeah, very, very mobile. There was 2 or 3 times I thought I had him, and just gets the ball away, is able to move his feet. It took all 4 of us rushing coordinated in order for us to get to him. Very thankful for those speed guys on the edge that can close in on the space. But you can see his off-schedule plays, his off-script plays. There's a reason that he was the first overall pick, and why I see him playing the football league a long time.
Yeah, and lastly, I know that you guys take a lot of pride in your run defense. 74.5 into the game, number 1 in the NFL. I don't have their numbers right in front of me, but it wasn't that robust. But the run defense and having it start there. Why are you so prideful in that?
Yeah, well, I'm prideful in that because that's what they pay me to do. So I'm thankful for that, that we're showing up well in that category. But again, that's not obviously like an individual stat by any means. It's a very selfless stat. You have a lot of players doing their job and understanding that I've got to take 2, take 3 so that another player can make the big play. And so we have just a lot of guys that buy into that. Very disciplined, and Flo runs a tight ship and how he wants his defense to be run. And the leaders on the defense emphasize that as well, and that's what we're getting that emphasis.
Okay, last one. 3 in a row on the road, like you said. First time in franchise history. The team has won 3 consecutive on the road. It's not like there have been a lot. There have been like 10 of them. But nevertheless, you did it. You've won 4 in a row, and this team has won. The Vikings have won at Soldier Field 5 consecutive times for the first time in a quarter century. So those are some really, really good numbers. Now you get 4 of the final 6 at home, all NFC teams. Finishing this 3-game road trip the way you wanted and heading forward. What are your thoughts?
Well, obviously a win is a win, but that's not how I wanted to finish this road trip. I wanted to have a exclamation point on the end of it, and do it in a better fashion than that. But this is good because we'll learn a lot from this tape. We had to counter punch and roll with the punches, so it's good that we got a good shot from them. But as we've said before, I think we split with these guys the last couple of seasons. We don't want that to happen. We understand that the North is extremely competitive. We want to continue to make our move to try to win the North, and we know that there's people right behind us aiming for those same goals. So, again, it's a one-week approach. We have the biggest game of the year coming up this Sunday because it's the next one.
Terrific work. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank all of you. A chat with Aaron Jones coming up later. Plus, the analyst joins at 10. PJ on the hard-fought defeat around 10:45. And Vikes Bites are around the corner, courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. Hey there. Please leave some talkbacks to be played in 20 minutes or so. We'd love to hear from you via the free iHeartRadio app. Leave some talkbacks for a couple of segments from now. Bam, bam, bam. With that in-season 3-game roadie, 5 in a row at Soldier Field for the first time in a quarter century. And for the now, 4 in a row, 4 KO, 4 in a row, 4 KO, 4 in a row, 4 B-Flow, 4 in a row, 4 B-Flow, and 4 in a row, 4 Romo, 4 in a row, 4 Romo.
Parker Romo with an opportunity in his first National Football League try, in his third game with the Minnesota Vikings, to walk off a winner at Soldier Field. Jake McQuaid, the long snapper, Ryan Wright holds. This is a 29-yard field goal between the hash marks to win it. Snap spot. Romo! Yes! And the Minnesota Vikings have won 5 consecutive games at Soldier Field. The final score, 30-27.
Football. Vikes Bites.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. It is Vikes Bites, which is presented by Thousand Hills. Lifetime grazed, grass-fed beef. And you can shop online. You can have a box of meat show up at your doorstep, or local Coburns, local co-op locations as well. They're proud sponsors of Gophers Athletics. We love you, Thousand Hills. We're going to start here with the number, as if we were our buddies at Zone Coverage and we were putting Nordo's numbers together on a weekly basis. Thank you, Zone Coverage. But a number, if I was talking to anybody as a Vikings fan that would draw the ire in a 5th consecutive victory at Soldier Field, would be the number 9, PA. And number 9 is, since the start of last season, the Vikings have 9 turnovers on their first possessions. It's actually 3 more than any team during that same stretch. So 17 regular season games last year, 11 this year. That's 28 total games. That means in 9 of them, which is effectively a third of games, our favorite football team, still finding ways to win a fair number of these things, are actually giving the other team a free possession early in the contest. You know, our head coach, I played some of his post-game locker room audio, which was really good. It's about 4 minutes long. You can listen to the entire thing via the Vikings social account on X. And it was terrific, touching moment with C.J. Ham and some other game balls that were handed out following the victory yesterday. But we hear how passionate he is about victories. We hear how passionate he is, how much this guy truly loves his players. He can't be sleeping after these opening possession turnovers, PA. And it was a thing we talked about after week 1 when, speaking of C.J. Ham, he coughs one up out east at MetLife against the Giants. That was the 6th one. We now have 9 of them. That is nothing short of unacceptable for a team that has probably in a muddy NFC some big aspirations for later on in the playoffs. The 9 opening possession turnovers, that stuck out to me in a game in which I want to celebrate some things momentarily, but that stuck out to me as an absolute L, and I can't believe it's that many in such a short period of time.
It's startling. It does not hit me the way the other 9 does, as in victories.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't hit me like the inordinate abundance of fumbles that they had all year last year, where it was like a head scratcher, like, wow, holy cow, this is happening 2 and 3 times every single game. Aaron's fumble yesterday as he was approaching the goal line, that was amazing. I mean, they went down the field like they were going to win the game by 3 scores. So it clearly is a common thread that is not preferred, but fortunately they're finding ways to get out alive, unlike last year.
Vikes Bites! Thank you, Thousand Hills. During those drive-bys, I'm glad you got a chance. Yeah, I would have liked to hear more from the quarterback during those drive-bys, but I'm glad that we heard from Justin Jefferson.
Excuse me, Paul, do you mind if I change? Oops, sorry, Sam. Okay, let me go find Jerry Tillery. Tillery, Doc.
By the way, first time I've heard Jerry Tillery talk, and he was so matter-of-fact about it, like, blocking a punt. Yeah, no big deal. I've done these things before. Yeah, they can be tough to get, but, it's just a thing that I do, and we needed that yesterday.
Right.
Cairo Santos feeling awful early on in that game, got us later. But talking with Justin Jefferson, the mindset that he has to have, the frustration that he has to hold within in moments where earlier in the season, he's talking about how we work hard. I work hard, as in Justin Jefferson, but the team works hard to keep Jordan Addison involved, and it's got to be good times, bad times. When you drew a couple of penalties yesterday, there was a massive PI penalty you got on Jalen Johnson. We love that. There was a defensive holding penalty, I think, on Jalen Johnson later as well. You wanted JJ one-on-one, and you got him, boy. And you got a couple of flags in the process. But you're looking at stat lines, 2 catches on 5 targets, just 27 yards. The good times, bad times with Justin Jefferson, where he has to eat it a little bit on a day like yesterday, but it's also got to be amazing to watch Jordan Addison blow up the way he did. Unbelievable tiptoeing at the line on the 69-yarder. You're getting TJ Hawkinson back in the mix. There's a humility element to it, but in lieu of JJ being able to blow up yesterday, and he'll have his moments, Jordan Addison was nothing short of spectacular.
We hope he has his moments, and that's actually going to be part of the Kevin O'Connell one-on-one tomorrow, framing it up like, is this going to be the case with Jefferson every single game the rest of the journey? Maybe the 162 and then the 109 in the second half by Hawkinson in overtime. Maybe that will pull players and coverage away from Justin. Maybe Aaron Jones with some explosive runs will pull some coverage away from Justin. Now, when I sat down next to Justin, and he's very kind to, just let me do that and put that microphone out there when, he might not have been in the greatest mood, even though the team was 9-2. I just hope that when Justin leaves the field and he gets back to the locker room and Kevin O'Connell speaks and gives out the game balls, I just hope he's not looking at his phone and getting, the Jamar Chases and people from around the country being like, dog, what were his numbers? 527?
Yeah, 5 targets, 2 catches, 27 yards.
Yeah, dog, 227 and 0. Dog, you haven't scored in more than a month. Dog this, dog that. And it's like getting him down. He wasn't like downtrodden, but, with the drive-by, when I sat down, like I'm standing up, and then I sat down and was like, Justin, I love you. You have to realize, man, that Addison and Hawkinson don't do what they do if you don't pull what you pull. And then it opened up a little bit. So I'm in the process of watching all of Sam's throws from yesterday. Interestingly, on a day that Justin absolutely received a lot of bracket coverage and a lot of double teams.
Yeah.
The very first pass, he was single covered and probably could have hit him for about 25 on the sideline in front of the Vikings bench. That's just the first pass. I've only looked at one. But when you needed big boy, in overtime, singled center of the field, you got him. I think he shook a little bit of a tackle, too, to get some extra yards, and that paved the way for what is known in the business as a victory. So there was just one shining moment. It wasn't the shiniest of all shining moments, but they had to have it, and he came through with it. And regarding Jalen Johnson, I mean, he's a fine corner. We just heard so much stuff about him last week, man. And it's like, if I'm Jalen, I probably start with the other Jalen Naylor.
I always love that one.
And work my way up to Jordan Addison and then maybe Justin Jefferson. Because when Naylor got that touchdown, it was on Pro Football Focus's favorite corner in the history of the NFL, a combo between Deion Sanders and Darrell Green, Jalen Johnson. I'll just leave it like this. He wanted none. He wanted none. He could handle none. And that's the end of the story.
I think what helps JJ as well, Vikes Bites, thank you, Thousand Hills, thank you, Matt, and everybody up in Clearwater,
Beef,
is that Addison and Hawkinson are feasting in the moments like this.
Yep.
If he goes 2 for 27 and it's just an absolute slog fest for an entire game and Sam's making mistakes and things go negative.
That's the key right there.
If they lose that game, for instance, let's just say they lose that game yesterday.
Yeah.
If I'm Justin Jefferson, I am mad because you do start thinking about the moments where, okay, a couple of weeks ago, I think Sam Darnold forces it to Justin Jefferson several more times than he did yesterday.
Big time.
And if we end up losing the game and Sam was throwing it to Addison for 5 instead of 50, he was throwing it to Hawkinson over the middle of the field in double coverage instead of wide open over the middle that sets up the game-winning field goal by Romo, I think Justin is seething. I think he's borderline apoplectic that you lose a game like that and you're feeling like you are the big horse, you are the Ferrari, and in a race, you didn't use me? Are you kidding me?
Right.
But for it to work out the way that it did, I think that lends some credence to the idea that, at least for a week. But I'm interested to hear what KO says tomorrow about, okay, now we saw a game where you took away Justin, and everyone else ate big time.
You nailed the A topic right in the middle of the conversation. Sam did not force the ball to Justin Jefferson repeatedly yesterday, despite the coverage.
Remember that triple team, though? That was a little hairy one.
Oh, no, there was one. Yeah. but we didn't leave the game being like, whoa, that should have been intercepted. Whoa,
no, correct.
That one was dropped. I mean, that was happening like 2 or 3 times a game.
And he was terrific yesterday.
Sam Darnold he's taken major steps as the leader of this offense and the A topic for the team because he's the quarterback. He's taken major steps the last couple of games. And, we tease Jalen Johnson. He's a fine corner. And so is Tyreek Stevenson. And, in fact, Keith Byard, my man's in his 9th year, but Byard's had some really, really good moments in the NFL. Shoot, he even threw a touchdown pass. I don't know how it happened. But
Wasn't he a former All-Pro, in fact? Maybe days in Tennessee?
Yes, sir. And Byard had a bunch of tackles yesterday. I mean, he was all over the place. So even though their pass rush ain't the greatest in the world, even though they move all over the place right before the snap, haven't seen anything like that in quite some time, their secondary is the strength of their defense. And Sam was able to achieve the first 300-plus yard game of his Minnesota Vikings career with 0 picks. That was a big step yesterday.
That's Vikes Bites, brought to you by Thousand Hills, lifetime grazed, grass-fed beef. Looks like I got a few talkbacks to play for you next segment, PA.
Indeed, because we text and talk back a lot more than people know. Your reaction to all the action will be heard around the corner, walking up to the analyst, Pete Bursich, courtesy of Sukup and Sukup.com. You're listening to 9 to Noon.
Better on the call to get us all fired up, excited, having a great Sunday than Paul Allen and Pete Bursich. I always say, turn down the TV volume and listen to the fan. You guys are awesome. Way to go firing us up. And the Monday show with you and Nordo is the best too. Love it. Sean from Maple Grove.
Hey, covenant claps for your kindness.
Yeah.
I mean, beauty is in the ear of the beholder, so not everybody's going to agree with what you're saying. But covenant claps for the kindness with that talk back. Now, thank you very much. The A topic here is Justin Jefferson coverage. All right. I'm 4 passes into this thing now. He was singled on the very first pass, and it was a shorty. And I guess you could have waited a little bit and tried to get him by the sideline for maybe a 20 or so. It would have been a tough throw. Bracketing on the second pass, 0 chance. Third pass was unbelievable. It was on the Johnny Munt pass where Johnny got down to the 1, and then Jones would fumble shortly after that. There were 2 members of the Bears who were right on his hips, one on the left, one on the right. I mean, not bracketing, not like trying to suck you in and get you to take the cheese. They were right on him, so much so that one knocked him down back center of the end zone. Here we go, Paul! So just when I thought that flag pickup on the late hit on Brandon Powell, now that was the most ridiculous thing we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
But behind that is one of these rubes, I think it was Kyler Gordon, just pushing Justin down in the end zone. Nobody said a word. Here we go, Paul! Johnny Munt tried to get in a day after his 30th birthday and then eventually would catch a stray on the onside kick. But
and then the false start on the OT drive.
Oh, that's right. But that's where we are with Justin right now. It truly is unbelievable.
To the talkback machine, free iHeartRadio app. Give us up to your best 30 seconds.
Good morning. Tom from Rosemount. Just wanted to give a little shout out to Nick Mullins. Doesn't get a lot of credit. Someone we really don't want to see in the game. But coming in on a 3rd and 13 and getting the first down was absolutely huge.
How about that? He comes in for the second time this year. And in both cases, just daggers Aaron Jones for a massive first down chain mover.
Yeah.
And then just kind of drifts back off into the mist. Now, if we had to roll with him for an entire game, things might look different. But he just absolutely comes in ice cold and is stone cold. Nick Mullins was great in that moment yesterday.
That's his jam. I mean, that's what he does. O'Connell knows it too. And so does Nick. I mean, it's like I've framed it up this way before. It's the only way to do it. It's like you're in the whatever of the 8th or 9th inning and you need one guy to come in to strike out one guy to preserve the game. And that's what he does. And then all of a sudden he's gone and you move on with life. But the one in London, I mean, I thought that was a 93% run given the circumstances. And instead, he hit Jones for like 25. And he did the same thing yesterday. That's kind of cool knowing you can put somebody in for a play or two and you're not afraid to throw the ball. So good for Nick Mullins.
To the talkback machine.
Hey, Paul, this is Brian calling near Zimmer Ridge Ranch. I love the post-game show. I called in there yesterday and woke up just wanting to double down. I keep thinking about it. First, Romo. I mean, I know he's paid to do it, but that's unbelievably clutch when we needed it. We also needed Jefferson on that 20-yard. We needed it bad. And then for our backup quarterback to come in and dart that 14-yarder, that's what Minnesota Vikings football is about. Peace.
Yeah, peace to you, man. And thanks very much for the call from Kentucky, the talk back from Kentucky, Brian. Well, the Parker Romo bit, it just makes me smile. I mean, because the hired gun nature of what a lot of these guys do, specifically kickers, and the long snapper, Jake McQuaid. I mean, they both know they're going to be here probably a month. McQuaid may be longer, but probably not. But Romo's probably most likely going to get 4 games. So it, just as the timing of the whole thing goes, of course, this couldn't happen in front of 3 in a row at home where there's no wind and the surface is hard and the whole thing is conducive to kicking. Nah, the first 3 have to be on the road, outdoors, 2 of the 3 on natural grass, and Soldier Field's natural grass has some bump appeal to it. Plus, it got a little windy at Soldier Field late in the game, and it's a divisional game. There's a lot of pressure. And outside of the missed extra point at Nissan Stadium, Parker Romo is establishing himself as somebody who will land with a team and stick with the team. So good for Parker Romo.
Let's see if I got another talk back up my sleeve. Tony Paintball?
Hey, PA and Nordo, Tony Paintball here, Houston, Minnesota. Can we talk a little bit about Sam Darnold and holding the ball too long? We love what Sam's been doing. He's been mistake-free for the last couple of weeks, but he does seem to be holding the ball too long and maybe missing some quick open reads that would be just as helpful as the deep shots down the field. Love to hear you guys talk about that a little bit. Skol Vikes.
I would say this, the holding on to the ball and not fumbling it part, I like that part.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that at times, though? And I think Pete even mentioned it maybe after a play where maybe does it feel like Sam's trying to do too much? Maybe that's just you're oversimplifying kind of the nature of these moments. Do you see that at all? Maybe Sam holding onto the ball in a couple of spots, looking for something to, long developing routes, looking for something to finally break open?
Well, the sack in overtime, I'd bet a lot that he held the ball too long. I haven't looked back at it yet, and I'll have a better answer for this maybe later in the show, but certainly tomorrow. It doesn't, the analyst is coming up here in 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so. So maybe he'll have a more detailed, pertinent answer than I can give. It doesn't really, when I watch back all these throws, it doesn't seem to me like it's a problem where he's holding it too long, waiting for something to bust deep. And that's why I say the last couple of games he's taken big steps, because the pass to Jordan Addison on the career long for him 69, that's one of the best passes we've seen all season. It was left hash mark-ish, right sideline. Jordan was double covered. It was a spectacular throw. But when you work on these plays all week and you think how they're going to work because you're getting the coverage that you saw all week, well, then you're going to wait. And then wait, they changed something. So that could be perceived as holding the ball too long also.
I like that. Let me get in one more talk back here. And again, thank you everybody for using the free iHeartRadio app and sending these in. Hopefully, whether it's tomorrow, well, actually not tomorrow, but we love the opportunity whenever we can to use these. Here's one more.
Hey, PA, Mike and New Richmond. Big props to Sam Darnold. Man, he is living up to the expectations we put on him. We all recognized that he had never been in a good situation. Well, we all recognize, except for one, Paul Charchian, who melted down on Twitter about Sam Darnold being our plan, which of course he never was. He's just the backup plan. And Charch never saw any potential in Sam Darnold, and he was so wrong.
PA and Charch.
You saw me over here listening to that while you were talking. You knew I had to fit that in.
Speaking of Paul Charchian, he and I will be at Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen this Wednesday for the Wednesday football feast from 9 until noon. The feast is Wednesday, Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen. And Chad Greenway will start the show at 9 a.m. Minnetonka High School's finest and also a Super Bowl winner with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bo Allen is going to stop by Buffalo Wild Wings for a couple of segments. Come say hi to Bo. And then, of course, Alec Lewis from The Athletic will be there about 11 o'clock. That's Wednesday, Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen for the Wednesday football feast. The Analyst is next.